bring order back to men's lives.
What is up, YouTube world? I wanted to talk to you about was society better when women called each other out? In the 19th and early 20th centuries, women often wielded moral authority within their communities despite lacking a formal political power. This influence was particularly evident in the movements like temperance movement, which led to prohibition in the United States. Women were seen as moral guardians of society. Their collective voice could shape public behavior and policy. Their moral authority extended to regulating social conduct among women, including policing sexual behavior. The idea that women could call each other out for social norms such as engaging in premarital sex or other means, something like that, was part of a broader system of social reinforcement designed to maintain stability in marriage family structure. Under certain laws, women had certain protections such as exemption from debt liability, rights to inherit property, which were tied to the legal framework of marriage. The concept of calling out in historic perspective, the women calling each other out refers to the informal but power social mechanism through which women enforce behavioral norms among peers. In pre-feminist societies, older women often admonished younger ones for actions perceived as undermining collective interests, such as devaluing marriage by engaging in casual sex. This was framed as protecting the ideal that secured men's financial and legal responsibility towards women and children. For example, women who engage in what was then considered immoral behavior might face social shaming or ostracizing. What some describe as a scarlet letter effect, this form of peer enforcement was seen by some as a way to ensure that men remain committed to long-term relationships, this supporting a more stable social order. Modern shifts in gender dynamics and social norms. So this, I would say, is the beginning of the fall of modern society, Western society, U.S. Society as a whole. But as America tries to export its bad moral behavior to other countries, continents around the world, you can see the huge decline in population growth among the majorities in Europe, in America, Canada, and so on. So here we are. The sexual revolution, birth control, the feminist movement fundamental altered the landscape. So once again, this doesn't mean it changed the landscape for better, because look at it. The minority is becoming the majority, and the majority is becoming the minority based on this so-called advancement in so-called bad behavior. Women gain greater autonomy over their bodies, lives, including access to education, employment, reproductive rights. As a result, traditional mechanisms of social control, like peer-enforced sexual morality, diminished. So basically, we're living, we're just living a lie, thinking that we're better off. Is it better that women gain greater autonomy over their bodies? Is it better lives including education, employment, reproduction. For example, education. Men don't do well with well-educated women because women that are more educated than her husband looks down upon him. And in employment, if a man makes less money than her, she doesn't respect him. And it comes down to a mathematical or a algebra equation where X produces so much, right? And if X producing so much equals Y not enough, right? If Y is a representation of women, it gets down to this. If X is not producing enough for Y, it's not going to equate, and you're not going to solve for X, right? Because X has to produce more than what Y needs for the relationship to continue to move forward in most relationships. So employment should go to the wayside, if you will. Education should go to the wayside. Women should be less educated, less employment opportunities, and reproductive rights is a result of traditional mechanisms of social control. So, like, for me, if we go back to biblical traditions of women ostracizing other peers for their scandalous behavior and just giving sex to everybody, we'd probably be better off as a society, having relationships just willy-nilly and not having a care in the world, because it hurts everybody in some way or another. Some of the arguments that this shift weakened a form of female that once protected collective interest, others encounter that it liberated from the oppressive double standards that allowed for personal freedom and equality. So I don't know where you get off thinking that you're better off, and how were you oppressed? Because women, right, in order for them to marry, they're not oppressed. I mean, it's a husband that said, "Hey, this is what I can afford. You know what I can afford. You know my check. You look at my check. I'm paying the bills. You're living under my roof. I'm supporting you all the way, and so on." That's the old way, right? Nowadays, it's totally different, right? Really, it gets down to this, right? Women, it's their money, but for the husband's check, it's our money. That's how it's perceived, and it's really it's not good for the long-term relationship, and it's not going to be a benefit to society as a whole. The decline of moral policing is linked to broader gains in women's rights, such as voting, property ownership, and legal personhood. So, is it right for a woman to have less morality to gain a broader rights, such as voting, property ownership? Is that better for a woman? Or is it better that she's under the husband and all her debt is not hers, it's only the husband's, right? So, interesting. So let's see here. The impact of technology and media on social reinforcement. Modern technology, particularly in social media, has transformed how social norms are reinforced. Unlike the legalized, community-based judgment of the past, today's social environment is global, hyper-competitive, platforms exposing individuals to ideals, images of beauty, success, romance, often leading to unrealistic expectations. Once again, it's a decline in morality, and it doesn't make women any better. It makes them whores, prostitutes, and other negative words come to mind when I think of this behavior. Some commentators suggest that social media enables a new kind of calling out, but is often public, performative, and rather than reinforcing stable norms, it can promote comparison, insecurity, and hyperpergamy, where women may pause or pursue high-status men at a expense of forming lasting relationships with more attractive partners. So, I don't know about you, but from what I gather from listening to many different YouTube people, hypergamy is how women treat men, how men treat jobs, right? A man is looking for a better job. A woman is looking for a better husband, right? More money, bigger house, better lifestyle than the previous husband, and so on. But it shouldn't be that way. It should be you marry for life, and that's it. Jesus said, Moses allowed you to divorce because of the hardening of your heart. Why was there a hardening of the heart in the first place, right? And that's probably another Bible study question to ask. So, in addition, the globalization of sexual marketplace means that women and men compare themselves to sellers, influencers, disrupting traditional mating patterns. See, once again, I would say by comparing ourselves to Hollywood, to prostitutes, whores, and so on, modern women have declined in their value in the overall. Because if you want to be a whore, a slut, a prostitute, if you want to be like that, I don't see that you're going to heaven. I mean, that's not godly behavior. That's not holy behavior. That's not, let me get married, have children, and be with this man for the rest of my life. Like my grandparents were married for over 65 years. My great-grandparents were over 65 years. My parents are like well over 55 years. So like, where do you stand with God? That's the important thing here. Like women think they advance, but really it's been a huge decline for men, for women as a whole. Men, particular, men are hurt by women being sluts, being whores, being prostitutes, basically. Women have prostituted themselves out to make money, and it's a fast buck, and their market value is only good till probably mid 35, the mid 30s, 35. Think about it. Anything past 35 is considered a geriatric birth for a woman. So her value, yes, she can have children, in her late 40s or whatnot, but how will the child come out? Will they have high birth issues? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's something to be honest about. So, what does the King James Version of the Bible say? Bible emphasizing a universal Christian duty for believers, both men and women, to practice moral accountability and love correction within the church, but discourages public quarreling or contentious spirit. So the Bible verse is Matthew chapter 18, verse 15 through 17. Believers are encouraged to correct one another in love when a sin is present. So the principle is mutual accountability. Bible verse is Titus chapter 2, verses 3 through 5. Older women are specified, instructed to teach and train younger women in godly behavior. Moral principle, teaching good things. Bible verse, Proverbs 21:9 and 19. Proverbs 27:15. A quarrelsome or angry person is consistently spoken of negatively in favor of a gentle spirit. In the principle, avoiding contentiousness. And here's a Bible verse, Romans chapter 12. Believers should strive for peace and harmony, avoiding behavior that cause division or disorder. Pursuing peace is the morality principle. And our last verse comes from Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 through 5, and Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. All interactions, including correction, should be motivated by love and kindness, not pride and anger. So, the interpretation, corrective or constructive correction versus calling out. The Bible model for dealing with sin or conflict is a private, loving approach aimed at restoration, not public shaming, calling out culture often associated with social media. Role of women. The King James passages like Titus 2, 3 through 5. Titus chapter 2, 3 through 5 verses lay out a clear framework for women to mentor and guide one another. This involves older women teaching younger women good things, which implies a level of oversight and correction within the appropriate boundaries. Unity over division. The Apostle Paul even publicly called out a disagreement between two women in his letter to the Ephesians, asking the church to help them be of the same mind in the Lord, demonstrating a concern for unity over papering over problems. In conclusion, the King James Bible does not support the idea that society is better when women are public shame each other. Instead, it promotes a healthy communication and community where women can and should offer loving private correction and teaching to foster godliness and peace within the church. So if you like my video, like and subscribe. It was longer than normal, but check out our other videos on Made Men Ministry YouTube channel. Check out our website at Mademanministry.com. And if you'd like to donate in any amount that you feel is that this has benefited you, that would be great. And you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/Mademanministries. And all the links are down below in the description. As always, stay tuned for more videos, and we're looking to grow our community, and you can join the community at Mademanministries community, and it's $10 a month. And once again, thanks again.